This meeting is for 1 hour. Delvaldis G will be sharing on his experience, strength, and hope for 50 minutes. Delvaldis, thank you so much for being a faithful supporter of the Broken Elevator. In addition, thank you for your service and your willingness to share your life with us today. We love and appreciate you. At this time, please help me give a warm welcome to Delvaldis from Chicago, Illinois. His home group is the Drunk Squad. Welcome and over to you, Delvaldis.
Thank you for your service, Tamara. Thank you for allowing God to use you and asking a creep like me to come out and share my story, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you, Natasha, everybody else doing service work. Congratulations, those who's sharing, who's celebrating anything and everything. Really nervous right now, y'all. Like, so I found out that somebody told me that me being nervous is God shaking the truth out of me, making me become honest. So when I first came around, I used to I ran into this guy and used to say, "Get honest, get honest, get honest, get honest," and that was the first thing he always said to me when he saw me. I need to read something real quick. Page 153. It may seem incredible that these men are to become happy, respected, and useful once more. How can they rise out of such misery, bad repute, and hopelessness? The practical answer is that since these things have happened among us, they can happen with you, should you wish them above all else, and be willing to make use of our experience. We are sure they will come. The age of miracles is still with us. Our own recovery proves that. I'm a grateful alcoholic. My name is Delvaldis. I'm really grateful. Let me get a moment of silence so that God and my understanding can come in and I can have a seat in the trunk. God, I thank you for everything you've given me. I thank you for everything you've taken from me. And I thank you for everything you've left me. That will not mine be done. Once again, my name is Delvaldis. I'm an alcoholic, grateful alcoholic. My sobriety day is November 28, 2018. I have a home group, Drunk Squad, Double Speaker Mean. We meet up every Friday. I'm the speaker seeker. We actually doing an alkathon. Come out and support that. I'm very involved in recovery and service work and helping others and giving away what was so freely given to me. What I was like, what happened, and what it's like now. I came up in a two-parent home. My parents didn't drink. And I thought I was different from everybody because where I'm from, it was always one-parent home. You know, it was always one-parent homes. And I thought I was special, and I thought I was gifted, and I thought for a long time that God had blessed me with two parents, which he did. But at the same time, my parents taught me some things. They taught me some things that were alcoholism traits, right? Like my mom coming up when I was old enough to answer the phone or the door, she would say, "Answer the phone or the door and tell them I'm not here." And then I would answer the phone or the door and I would say, "My mama said she not here." Right. And then she would whoop me, right? Like she would give me so as a child, I was confused as a child, like, what should I tell the truth? Or, you know what I'm saying? So I was delusional from the beginning. My dad taught me that men don't cry, and he would punish me, and he would say, he made me get on my knees, and he would say, "I'm gonna give you something to cry for." And excuse my language, he used to say, "Crying is for pussies." Excuse my language. I don't know if I can say that, but it's said already. Forgive me if anybody's offended. It's just my story, you know. So I had to play this tough role. Coming up as a child. I got good grades at school. I was a basketball star. And I got a D in swimming. And my dad made me get off the basketball team for a D in swimming. My first resentment. And I didn't know that until I came around here, my first resentment. And I couldn't play basketball. And I was like the coach's the man, you know what I'm saying? And that was my life. That was all I knew. You know, he stripped me of that and he robbed me of that. And I didn't see eye to him with him after that. You know, the next year came around, my coach got another pet or how can I say individual that he was training. My coach used to train me one-on-one. Like everybody else played with it. I played with my coach one-on-one. And that experience made me hateful, made me resentful, made me callous. I was real callous. So I started being rebellious. I started doing things. I started leaving the house. I started not coming home. And in high school, I had a best friend, and we were really, really close. We were really, really close. And it's crazy that how God turns my misery into a ministry. December 31st, 1994, me and like I said, my best friend, we was always together. We was always together. And that one day, I got a phone call that day, and his mother called me and said, Gerard was hit by a semi-truck. Got to the car, the engine was sitting on his lap, burned up. The day that changed my life, December 31st, 1994. Now I'm asking God why, and I'm asking God why I couldn't go with him. I'm asking God, like I didn't understand, right? Like I didn't understand that. I didn't understand death. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that looked like. So I turned to other things. I wanted to feel that emptiness, that loneliness, and I wanted to feel something other than what I was feeling, because I was hurt and I was sad and I was lonely and I didn't know what else to do. By this time, I'm in a trade school. We going to school. I'm in an apartment with 4 guys, and they having keg parties before, and they started having keg parties, and I said, give me a drink. I said, give me a drink. My first drink was a drunk. I passed out, threw up, all that. I woke up in the morning looking for more because it made me feel good. I was the life of the party, what I'm saying? It did it for me. Like that's what I wanted. That's what I thought I'd been searching for after my best friend died. During that time I had a girlfriend. We were together, and I started smoking weed, and I started selling drugs. And the drugs were prevalent in my life. I got caught. I did 3 years in prison. I was scared. Y'all. Like I'm young and I don't know what's going on. I heard all the prison stories, prison wars. I heard, what I'm saying? And I didn't know what to do. So I picked up my Bible. And all throughout that 3 years, I was protected. I didn't get hurt. I didn't get harmed. Nobody messed with me. And I got a new look on God. And before I went to prison, I asked God to not send me to prison, but I got a new relationship, right? Like, and the relationship was give me. I prayed to God and He'd give me some things. Even though He sent me to prison, I got some things. I never heard it. My commissary was good. Everything was good when I was in there. I met some friends. I started working out. I played basketball. And even in prison, I told myself the whole time, that I wasn't going to get back out and drink. I told myself that I wasn't going to smoke weed. I wasn't going to be around those people no more. And it worked. And I got out and it didn't work. Right. Like it didn't work. Like I thought it worked. Like I thought those prayers, I thought God was going to answer my prayers that way, but he didn't. You know, during that time, those next 3 years that I was out, not even 3 years, like 2 years, I was out and I started selling drugs again. I said I wasn't gonna do that, right? Like I said, and that day came when I started using the drugs that I was selling, harder drugs, and those drugs became my maker. Alcohol and drugs were very present in my life, and I couldn't stop. Right, I couldn't stop, and people was telling me, "You need help," and no, you need help. You need the help. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need the help, right? Like and I couldn't see that something was wrong with me. I couldn't see behind my own ears. Got caught again. Somebody told on me. I got snitched on. So where I'm from, we don't do the snitching thing. We don't tell on each other. But this one guy, he told on me. You know, he was my friend. We was riding around, and he told on me. He snitched on me. I did another 3 years. I did another 3 years in prison. And when I got out, I didn't even get out. So I went to a work release. And they let me go home. Like the first time I didn't pick up. But that third time, while I'm in work release, I picked up while I was out. And when I got back there, they said, we need some urine from you. So I tried every measure to try to avoid it. And they was about to send me back to prison. You know, it was only by God's grace and mercy that they didn't send me back. They told me they was going to give me a pass this time. And I moved forward, and I vowed to myself again, I'm not going to do it. And I vowed to God that I wasn't going to do it no more. But I ain't had no defense against that first run. I didn't have no defense against that first one. Every time I got out, I started back over. The insanity started back over, back to the insanity. Went to my first Alcoholics Anonymous treatment program that second time I went to prison. But I wasn't trying to hear what they say. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an addict. I'm not none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like y'all. I couldn't diagnose myself as an alcoholic addict. And I heard a speaker earlier today. He said, I went to a church and they told me to just claim it. Claim that you can't claim that you are alcoholic because that's going to make you an alcoholic, right? Like, so you speak those things that's not as though they were, and that's going to work for me, right? That's going to work. The insanity. God had bigger plans for me. God had huge plans for me, and I didn't know that he had these plans for me. So moving forward, I started working, I started losing jobs, I started losing cars, I started having accidents. I ran into a parked car, y'all. I drove into a parked car, right? Like, cause I took that drink and the drink took me, right? A lot of stuff happened in between that, and I don't want to get into all that. I chased one more. I chased and chased until I couldn't chase no more. I went into treatment. I get a couple of months sober, and I get the job. I get the car. I get these things, and I'm okay. I don't need y'all no more. And I did that over and over again. The book says countless vain attempts to try to prove that I can drink like other people. I remember going to a luau with one of my guys, and I was sober at the time, and he convinced me. He said, you can take one drink with me. It's my birthday. I was convinced that I could. I was convinced. And with that conviction, at the end of the night, I was around there begging people for money. I was begging people for money so I can go get what I really, really wanted. Right. Did treatments. I've been to numerous treatments in Chicago, probably everyone, Salvation Army. Oh my God, I don't even want to go through the list, but I tried it. I tried it. That's what I told myself. I told myself I was trying it, but I never gave Alcoholics Anonymous the proper attention that it was due. Right. I never took the suggestions. Y'all told me all suggestions was free, but they only cost when I don't take them. And I got tired of paying for these suggestions, right? Like, so I go in and out, hokey pokey, put your left foot in, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I couldn't get it. You know what I found out? That God is the seamstress that tailor fitted my pain to make me drop down on my knees and cry out for some help. And he sent me around you guys. And he kept sending me around you guys. And I kept going back to my wilderness. I kept going back to my will. And my will didn't work. This last time, I'm going to talk about 2016. 2016, I had 16 months sober. I was making $40 an hour. I had a lot of money in the bank because I wasn't using in those 16 months. And, wasn't a cloud on the horizon. Everything was peaceful, right? Like, it wasn't nothing wrong. No big deals, no little deal. Everything was good, right? And I never drink a drug when everything is going bad. That's not my track record. Like, when everything going bad, I'm gonna press through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna push on through it. Like, oh, God got away, and I'm gonna praise God, and but it's those moments of everything is okay. I had a lot of sponsors by name, never used them. 2016, I had thousands of dollars in the bank, and that voice said, it was me. I know that voice says it was me. It was me. Me telling me trying to fix me trying to heal me. I said, I can do $100. I'm far from my house. Ain't nobody gonna know. I did that $100 and I chased. And I'm so grateful for that experience. I'm so grateful for my last drink because that was the best drink I ever took, because it got me a seat around here that I can hear y'all. I was able to listen. So that 2016 left me out there to 2018. Like I said, I got a sobriety date of November 28, 2018. And I came around here. And I sat down and I sat all the way down and I glued myself to the seat, right? Like, and I heard y'all, I did a lot of ear hustling, a lot of eye hustling. I started watching people recovering and I still couldn't admit that I was powerless. How can something with no arms and no legs tell me what to do? How can that control me, right? But I found out that every time I started, I couldn't stop. So I didn't have a stopping problem because I stopped every time I ran out of money. Every time I ran out of money, I stopped, right? But I had a starting problem. And once I started, I couldn't stop, right? Like once I put one in me, it's off to the races, right? The green light go off to the march of dimes. And I chased. I can't drink and I can't not drink. I'm screwed. I'm in a predicament, right? I started seeing y'all recover, right? I started getting the hope from y'all. My sponsor says faith is just hope with a track record. Because every time I put my faith in God, my hope in God, he never lets me down. So I started doing what y'all was doing. And I wanted what y'all had, but I say this all the time, I just kind of wanted it. I didn't want to do all the work. I didn't want to do everything y'all wanted, y'all was suggesting. I didn't want to look at myself. I never wanted to look at me. I pointed the finger at everybody. It's you need to change. It's you need to change. I don't need to change. I'm okay. I came to step 2 and I came to believe that a power greater than myself could. I saw something happening to y'all. I came around here and I seen y'all laughing. I seen y'all joking because when I came around here, it wasn't nothing funny. I ain't have nothing to smile about. My life was in turmoil. I wanted to die, but I was too much of a coward to kill myself. I was too much of a coward to kill myself. I think it was more so that I just didn't want to live the way I was living. I didn't want to be dishonest. I didn't want to be deceitful. I didn't want to be ungrateful. I didn't want, like, I mean, my I come to step 3 and I made that decision. I made a decision. And what does that look like? Said this is the how here. This is the how and why of it. We have to quit playing God. Yes, I don't gotta play God no more, right? Like that's a relief for me, right? I don't gotta play that role no more. I can turn it over to Him, and I can let God lead me, guide me, shape me, and mold me into what He wants me to be, not into what I want to be. I made that decision, right? And I picked up that pen. All the other times I get to step 3 and I bought. It says in our book, the big book, some of these we bought. We thought we could find the easier, softer way. I thought my way was the easier, softer way, right? But I found out as a result of me keep coming back that this is the easier, softer way, right? I picked up that pen and my first sponsor. And I love him dearly. And we don't talk much, but he said something that had depth and weight. He said, instead of telling God how big your problems are, tell your problems how big your God is. That's my sponsor. That was God speaking through him to me. And I needed to hear this voice. And while I was in treatment, I ain't even talk about the treatment. I went to a treatment this time and they told me you have to do another treatment to come to this facility. Kicking and screaming, I went to another treatment. I got to do another 30 days to save my life. What an order. I can't go through with it, right? Like that's too much for her. I can't handle it, right? So I kicked and screamed, and then I forgot that I prayed that prayer. Huge part of my story when I came around here this time. Driving on 3 wheels. And let me explain that. I was driving on the expressway, 65, 70 miles an hour. My tire and rim came off my car. On I-94. And I ran across the street and put my tire and my rim inside of my car and proceeded to drive on my brakes. Full flight from reality. Because I had $10. I was about to go spend. I was going to get what I needed regardless, right? Like, and I drove all those brakes, sparks everywhere, people moving out the way. I'm talking about and I'm thinking it's normal. It's okay. Everybody does it. We're in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I've seen worse, right? Like, and I gave myself that illusion, right? Like, and after a while, my transmission shot from underneath my car. It was below 0. It was, that cold, that Chicago weather, that Windy City weather I'm talking about. And I hadn't taken a shower. For weeks. I was living in my car. And God knew when I prayed that prayer, I said, God, you've taken everything. You've given me everything that I've wanted. Why haven't you taken this alcohol and addiction away from me? And the angels started working, right? The angels started showing he's ready, right? Like he's ready. And that's when that happened. The tire and rim came off my car, all that, right? And I didn't have I spent that $10 and I ain't have any way to get anywhere. And in Chicago, they don't play about getting on the train and the bus, right? Like if $2.50 is the fare, sir, you can't get on, right? You can't get on. So I walked to the train, and this was my first admission of honesty. I told the lady that was at the booth, look, I'm trying to get some help. I need to get out to East Hazelcrest, suburb of Chicago. And she said, go ahead, baby. I'm going to pray for you. That was God. That was God. That second bus, I had to take a train and 2 buses. That second bus, I told the guy the same thing, but the third bus is the hit for me. I get choked up every time. I told the guy, I said, I need to get to this place. I told him the place, and he said, come on, little dog. I'm going to drop you off right in front of the place. God knows. God knows. And he knew what he was doing before I even realized it. He set that path. He set that day. Because I think if it was any other day, them people wouldn't have been there. So he knew. Went to another treatment, got to Salvation Army, and heard my sponsor, and I started making means. And I remember the previous times when I was just making meetings. I stopped. And I get it when people say meeting makers make it, that don't work for me. That don't work for me. I need more. I need more than just making means. I need this solution. I need this practical program of action, this plan outlined in the book in order to keep me. So I need this, right? And I wanted it. I wanted what y'all had, right? So I started doing what y'all was doing, and I started getting what y'all was getting. So I kept coming back, and and more was being revealed one day at a time. I'm like, I want the instant gratification. I want microwave status. I want instant grits. I want to wake up tomorrow with 10 years, right? Like, it don't work like that. It's a one day at a time process. And I'm grateful for that journey because I found out that the joy is in the journey. If I would have woke up with 10 years, I would have missed everything that I'm experiencing. My sponsor says we want to be happy, joyous, and free, but the freedom has to come first. The freedom got to come first. I had to be free from the bondage of self in order for me to become happy, joyous, and free. And I don't do this thing perfectly. And it like life gonna show up, things gonna happen. God gonna wrestle the nest, man. Like so for me, it's like this. It's like this. When a baby bird. When a mother is in the nest, he sticks little thorns up in the nest for the baby bird to make him uncomfortable. He makes the baby bird uncomfortable so he can jump out and become the being that it's supposed to be, right? God makes me uncomfortable so I can do some things different. Y'all told me do those things that's uncomfortable until not doing them feels uncomfortable. It's real uncomfortable for me not to make a meme. It's real uncomfortable for me to try to do this on my own now, right? I can't do this alone. Like, y'all can have a meet without me, but I can't have a meet without y'all. Because every time I have a meet without y'all, I end up at the liquor store or on the crate asking myself how I got here again and again. The program of Alcoholics Anonymous has given me a life. I ain't gonna even, because I wasn't even living out there. I was just existing. It's given me a life worth living. What I do for a living, I stay sober for a living. Everything else is a gift. It's the gift of sobriety. The gift of sobriety is the gift of sobriety. Like this program, look, y'all, it actually worked. I'm a walking miracle. Look at God doing for me what I could not and would not do for myself. And I'm grateful for it. This road that I'm on, I was working for the city of Chicago. First, I started driving for Lyft. And then I started working for a limousine company. And I started driving a garbage truck, plowing the snow, 16-hour shifts when it snowed, tired, couldn't make means. And I remember those times when I started doing that. Anything that I put before my recovery gonna fit in a bottle or fit on a pipe, and I'm gonna drink or smoke it up. For me, I needed the willingness that I got. I needed the butt kicking that I got. I needed every bottle. I needed all the pain. I needed everything that I went through to get to a point where December 31st, 2022, God says you free. I'm free. And I love it. I love it. So I was blessed with, and I didn't say this part. So when I came into the program this time, I thought I was going to get my family back. I need to say this. As a result of working the steps, I might find out. I found out that what I wanted when I first came up in here ain't really what I want today, right? I found that out because I did some work on me. Because I know what I want today. I know what God got in store for me. I realized that God has more in store for me. And I fought and I kicked and I left star marks on that relationship because I wanted what I wanted when I wanted it right now. It's my relationship and I want it now, right? Like it don't work like that, right? I didn't get that relationship back. But I got a better relationship with the God of my understanding because I used to put reliance on her. I used to put reliance on things. There's one who has all power. Her name is Marah. May you find her now. That ain't what it say, right? It said his name is God. May you find him now. Anything that I go to, any moment that I'm in, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Right here, right now. Right? So I find God in this moment. I continue to seek God in this moment. Life is showing up, y'all. I met some people around here. My best friend, like I love her. And she seen something. She saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. And she said, why don't you get on this semi truck? Right? And I was too fearful. I'm learning to step out on faith. I come in here with a small seed of faith, and now every day I move from faith to faith. Every day, God keep on revealing to me, like, trust me, get out the way, trust me. I got this, trust me. And I hopped on that semi truck, and I fell in love. And that's a result of me getting out my head. Stop trying to fix you. Listen to some advice. Listen to some suggestions, right? This job that I got, this is the only job that I know that I can get loaded and not have no consequences, right? Like I get loaded, I get a 53-foot trailer behind me and they load it up and I ain't getting no consequences behind it, right? So I love this way of life and I get excited about it. I'm still excited about it. I fan that flame. I try to help the newcomer. I can only give what I can only give what they willing to accept. I can't get nobody sober and I can't get nobody drunk. You know, sponsees have asked me to sponsor them. And when it comes to the work, and some of these we bought, they bought for a long time, right? Like I bought for a long time, and I can identify with that. I can definitely identify with the balking, but I can't deny them the dignity of their own pain. You know, I can't deny them that, because nobody denied me the dignity of my pain. You know what I found out? That when the pain of holding on becomes greater than the fear of change, I will surely let go. Let go of my way. Let go of my thinking. What I thought almost killed me. What I thought got me a seat around here, and I'm grateful for it. What I thought, my thinking was, step one, take a drink. That was my thinking for a long time. Like I get that fixed idea that the drink gonna fix me, and I found out that drinking was a solution for a long time. And I also found out that the God of my understanding is the solution for me today. The main object of the book is to get me to a God of my understanding that will solve my problems. Every problem in my life is an opportunity for God to show up. Every single problem. I can't believe I'm sitting here in a room full of people getting honest. I couldn't get honest before, y'all. I tell myself a lie. I send myself up the river. I tell myself things that by every form of self-deception and experimentation, I try to prove myself exception to the rule. Therefore, non-alcoholic. I tried every form. I've tried every way that I thought of. I tried LA fitness recovery. I tried church recovery, right? Like I tried all these things, right? I tried relationship recovery, right? Like all these things that I thought was going to fix me. I even suffer from retail therapy, right? That's going to fix me. A pair of shoes going to fix me. Jewelry and all that. Like, that's why I got all, look, that's because of that retail therapy, right? My sponsor says I suffer from, I think, I feel, I want, I gotta have. Now give me more. I think, I feel, I want, I gotta have it. Now give me more. And y'all, that's a part of awakening. That's a part of awakening. I suffer from that. The wheels get to turning. And I gotta tell my thinking, we got a lovely way of closing. Because I get on my knees every morning. And sometimes I don't even gotta get on my knees. Like God hears me without me getting on my knees. Right? And I pray and I ask him to divorce me of this selfish, self-centered, dishonest thinking that I suffer from. And it works, y'all. I follow the plan outlined in the book. So where I'm at today, I'm in Chicago. My dad is just had a stroke like 3 months ago. And to see my dad, the man that my mother never worked a day in her life. My dad took care of everything. He was the man, you know, to see him so weak and not be able to do anything for himself. God got me sober for such a time as this, so I can show up for my parents, so I can be available, responsible, dependable, reliable. That's the God of my understanding does for me. And I show up, y'all. I take time off work, right? Like I take time off work because they say they need help, right? Like I get to do this thing. It used to be, I got to go to meetings. I got to do this. I get to do these things, y'all. And I don't want to do it, right? Because I'm selfish and self-centered. I try to be, every day I wake up, I try to be a little bit more selfless. Y'all told me you got to give it away in order to keep it. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, right? And I came around here. You got to get, I don't make sense. Make it make sense to me. The program of my Alcoholics Anonymous don't got to make sense. Keep coming back. Eventually, it's going to make sense. Make means to means make sense. And when they make sense, make means. Right? Like I make means. I make a lot of means, and I'm not bragging on this. I need this, and I want it. I make 6 or 7 Zoom means all day, pretty much every day. When I'm on that truck, I drive 10 hours. I need to get out of my thinking all by myself. I'll sing, but I'll be all by myself on that. You know what I'm saying? On that truck, 10, 11 hours strong, and I'm by myself. But I tap into me, and I'm so grateful for the Zoom platform that I can be anywhere at any time and tap on the meeting and get into the solution. Get outside of me. My brother is a drunk. And at one point, when I did my first resentment, I did my amends with him, and the same brother that said he didn't want nothing to do with me, called me a crackhead, you ain't gonna never amount to nothing. I made my amends with him, a financial amends, and his response was, how can I get what you got? That's how I know the program works. That's how I know this thing works. My mother said, you took 10 years from me. Now you've given them back. My dad lights up when I come into the room, y'all. He used to frown when I come into the room. He lights up. He's like, he got his son back. Newcomer, welcome to the best show on earth. This program really is an amazing, awesome, wowing program. Fit yourself. Do what's suggested. This thing is amazing. I lay aside all prejudice. Like I had to lay aside some prejudice. I had to lay aside some things that I thought. Like y'all told me in step 5, yeah, I'm going back. But in step 5, y'all told me I had to tell somebody. Where I'm from, we don't tell on each other. I don't know what I'm gonna tell on myself. I'm gonna snitch on me? No way. I'm not gonna do. But I found out. Once I did that was the most humbling experience because my sponsor shared with me some things, and it made me realize that we just alike. We all alike. We come around here. We all got the same last name, alcoholic, and we trudging this road to happy destiny. If you're here, stay. Why keep coming back? Stay. I go out there. We all gonna be a testimony or give a message. If I go back out there and die in the horrors of my addiction, I'm gonna be a message. If I stay around here and share what was so freely given to me, be a message. I want to be a message of hope today. I want to share the language of the heart. And I want, you know what I'm saying? I get in my head that I don't sound good and I'm my own worst critic. Like, no, God already tailored my tongue. He knew what I was going to say before I even said it, right? Like, I come into a meeting, I don't know what I'm going to say. But God, the God of my understanding. Look, y'all, I'm going to say this and I'm going to close. My sponsor had me write a list of what God is and what God's not. This is my list, y'all. My list. What God is to me, he's loving, caring, respectful. He's a giver. He's all knowing, all powerful. He's intentional. He chastises. My God chastises me. He corrects me when I'm wrong. When I get off the beam, he corrects me, right? Like, he directs my path, y'all. He's my everything. That is the most important relationship in my life. He's eager to forgive even when I can't forgive myself. Eager. He's all wisdom. He's all knowledge. He's understanding. He understands that I'm frail and I'm going to mess up and I'm going to fall down, but I'm going to get back up, right? Because God gives me that strength. A wise man falls 7 times, but he gets back up. It's not in the falling down that I get my blessing. It's in the getting back up. I keep getting up. Every time I fall, I dust myself off and I look to the hills where my help comes from. My help comes from God. God is honest. He knows what's best for me. God sings, laughs, and dances with me. This is the God of my understanding. He answers prayers and he is very patient with me. What God is not mean. He's not a bully. He's not forceful. Either God is everything or he's nothing. If God is everything, I got nothing to feel. If God is nothing, I got this. I get my ribs out of her. I'm back in the insanity, right? Tamara, thank you for asking me to share my experience, strength, and hope. I hope and pray that someone got something out of what I was saying. I'm a grateful alcoholic, grateful to be here. Thanks for everybody for showing up for me and for you. I do this for 4 reasons. It's a sense of duty. It's my pleasure. And in doing so, I can pay back the man who freely given to me, gave it away to me. And I can take a little bit more insurance against a possible slip. Because when I slip, I'm like Humpty Dumpty. I have a great fall. I'm a grateful alcoholic. Please, thank you for everything. Thank you for being here. With that, I keep coming back. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna keep running back.